So what makes classification? You see? What classifies? What in your very own being, personage, information, ways, knowings, what makes judgment, classifies, gives value or non-value to your experiences? We never ask these questions, especially at school. No. Child should know what it is already. Child has to move its mind into the external world and find out about the planet, the ways, the guidelines, the rules, the classifications, the values, the measurements. So we have to wait till our body is in turmoil. Our mind is psychologically scumbling around for some real true answers, because nothing in the external world is providing that genuine, longed for answer. So we have to ask questions like, what classifies? What thinks? Who is the thinker? You see? And to the very intelligent, happy-go-lucky, eager to build and confront the world of superiority and power and needs to address the whatever biblical book it is, whatever religion it is, whatever scientific faith it is. These questions are primitive. To those, these questions are absolutely of no use. It's not going to make me get my name into Wikipedia. It's not going to make me a saint. It's not going to make me a king, a queen. It's not going to make me rich. It's not going to make me famous. It's not going to make me a celebrity. These questions are for those that are the idiots in life, you know, the idiots that cannot answer very simple questions. You see, when enlightenment, whatever it is, when this profound shift in consciousness happened, there was no one there to classify it. But because of our conditioned program way, something arises from the, you know, the dregs of your ego self and says, what is it? What took place? And it forces itself into what it already knew, words, and then it forces itself into looking for external words. So it finds itself on some sort of book, the Bhagavad Gita, or some sort of confirmation from some sort of saint that says it's enlightenment. So it's now been classified as enlightenment, classified as something. And of course, our educational days at school is to make comparisons between good and bad, between this and that, between man and woman, between, you know, the different kinds of trees, the sky and the landscape, you know, the flower and the weed. Yeah. So the measurement comes in, and it's your own measurement. You see, in this stage of enlightenment, there's no conferring with the external world. So there's no one to blame, you see, because non-duality means I am that I am, you see. So something wants to measure it. So something inside says, oh, it's enlightenment has to be top dog, you know, top experience. And of course, the feeling is top dog. The feeling is, wow, I never realized this was possible. I never realized life would reveal such mystical ways beyond this human realm. So I have to be top dog. See, I has to be top dog. I has creeped back into the into the in the room at the back of class, raising the questions to try and entice that what one is into an ego state. And it works, you see, because this life is impossible without names and identities now. It has been made so classified, so purely and discreetly organized into the dots of the I's and the strokes of the T's. There is some sort of not a need to classify oneself or classify one's experience, but it's your duty. It's your duty to classify what's going on in your life. It's your duty to explain, whether it's through a book or whether it's through an interrogation from some law, or whether it's through your teacher or your employer or your partner or your children. Classify. What are you about? What's your name? What's your story? What do you do? Where do you come from? Where are you going? What is your beliefs? What religion are you? Where is this enlightenment that you talk about? And you realize that the class is full of that ego thoughts. And you have a fight on your hand, you see. Not against the world, not against the external world. Responsibility is responsibility. One thing you learn is your responsibility for your whole life. Whatever you do in your life, you are the responsible one. Yeah. And in your measuring intelligent educational school mind, it will say, well, I'm responsible for a lot of good things, but a lot of bad things. No, you're just responsible. You see? The measurement means you're just responsible. That's as far as the measurement needs to go. I'm responsible. Whether I see it as bad or good, it matters not. What matters firstly is that you identify that what is responsible. I is responsible, you see. I is responsible. So you go back to the primitives questions. You say, well, who is I? Who am I? What is I? See, the self-inquiry is not a beginning and end. Enlightenment is not an end to all suffering. It is a beginning to pure living. But you're not special. You don't get to escape life. You don't get to escape your conditioned thoughts, your programmed ways, whether it's in 10 bodies or whether it's just in this soul body. Whatever you do at school, whatever you do as a child is ingrained in your neurons. The neuroplastic surgeons, they're very, 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 very smart. Smarter than the scientists, smarter than the gods, the religions, the souls, the spirits are smart. They're smart because they know how this brain operates. Unfortunately, some others utilize your brain to be operated, in a systematic way, in an organized way, in a constructed way, in an educational way. Make sure they get this information before they're too free. Their minds are too free. Their brain is too open. Their brain is too diverse. We don't want intelligent people. We want some, you see. But that when you find yourself measuring against rich and poor, good and bad, intelligent, non-intelligent, your ego is nibbling away again, nibbling away, you see. So you drop I, you drop me, you see. And you take spells away from life. Not the natural life, but the life that is a dream, that is born through thoughts, the life that is imagined, the life that sees tomorrow as something better than today, or sees yesterday as a real pain. If yesterday didn't happen, I wouldn't be like this today. You see, this life is just a life of um, foolishness, and we all play it. Even those that don't think these primitive thoughts. Who is the thinker? Who is the witness? They're also thinking about how much money I can get next year, which holiday I'm going on, what house I'm going to buy, how many aeroplanes, what next car I'm going to get, what, and of course it's not just the monetary side. It's how many people will I save? I'm going to be the greatest surgeon, the greatest nurse. I'm going to save so many people. I'm going to make people's lives so well. The well-being coach. I'm going to improve everyone's lives. You're driven by thoughts that you are superior. If you can improve everyone's life, you're superior. If you can take anything from this planet that is better or worse than anyone else, you're superior. You think you are able. You think you are much more. You also think that people are weak. You also think that people are not capable. You see, in the state of the body and in the state of life-saving operations, no, you're not. Your body sometimes is not capable. It needs that help. But to think you can make someone else's life better by thinking you can make it better is your problem, you see. You have to address the problem of I first. Once you discover your I, you realize, once you discover your I and this non-dual I, or non-dual oneness, you realize there's nothing you can do. You can, if you're a surgeon, life save. But there's nothing you can do to make this planet greener. There's nothing no one can do to make this planet greener. There's nothing no one can do to nuclear bomb other people and countries and think that's it going to be all over. Yeah, to think that there's a way of cleansing the earth of its misery, cleansing the earth of people who are, not concerned about life. It's foolish. That's the view of the what you call an enlightened mind. This is all dream. It's all thoughts. It's all make believe. It's all and of course you're confronted when you openly say this by speakers who say this is reality. Yes, it's reality. It's reality. It's absolute reality. But we have to make something out of reality, you see. Can we make something else out of reality? Can we make reality better? You see, that's the whole problem. We're not happy with what we have. We're not happy with the land that we live on, whether you're poor or rich, whether you have no house or house. We want to be out of reality. It's a dream world, you see. This is, I'm not an avid believer. I'm not an avid fan of what U.G. Krishnamurti tries to promote in a very negative way. Of course, it's true what he says, but leave it alone. Leave it alone. Just leave this thing alone. This is an organic earth that is capable, with or without humans, to survive. And likewise is the universe, likewise is the galaxies. But to imagine that we're something more than reality. We want something better than reality. We want something out of mind, out of body. We want something lucid. We want something beautiful. The enlightenment will give you that for a short spell, 10 years. And then it gives you something far more worthy. It gives you contentment. It gives you the ability to fight your thoughts. It gives you the ability to fight, not in a suffering way, in a very simple way, Ramana Maharshi way. Not this. not this. War, not this. Netti, not this. Enlightenment, not this. Measuring, not this. Who am I? Not this. Even the primitive thoughts. You go beyond primitive thoughts. And those that are still driven by intelligence, they're confused. What? You have to either think good things or bad things. No, not this. What do you mean you're going beyond the simple things in life? You're going beyond the basics? Not this. So what are you? What are you telling? What are you trying to say? Not this. You know, the understanding that everything is the same. When you watch a television interview or a program or something, whether it's real or whether it's fictional, and there's a bad guy being interviewed by the police, and he says no comment. Every question, no comment. No comment. It's not the same as not this. It's ignorance to pretend that you're not knowing. To pretend that you're not capable of answering the question. Not this is not. Netti is not a pretense. It is reality. It is reality in its purest sense. To think that we know anything about this planet is pure ignorance to that what created it. How do you know? Let's say it's a God. God created this planet like it says in the Bible. I know that's the trees. God says, who the hell? What are you giving names to my objects for? Well, it's in your honor. No, not this. I don't need an honor. You know? What is this idea that you are equal to me, says God? That you can convey and conspire and measure and value and analyze that what is sacred to me, says God. Just stay quiet, be silent, be grateful, be present, be aware, and then we can be one. We can walk through this life hand in hand. But don't be smart. Don't try and hide it from me, you know. Don't give me the no comment. No comment. When you say not this, it's like a bow. You're bowing to my superiority. You're bowing to my wisdom. You're bowing to my mystical and magical powers because you know nothing. And when you know nothing, you know me, says God.